A resolution of the Northern Cheyenne Tribal Council informing programs that in the future, all programs that are doing things to benefit the public must put poster up and have district meetings on the subject. Whereas the Tribal Council wanted to address the issue of informing the public of certain issues that might affect tribal members. And whereas programs that are going to change or address the pros and cons now. Therefore be it resolved that the Northern Cheyenne Tribal Council hereby informs all the programs that in the future, if an issue is going to affect the Tribal Council members, the programs must place posters in all districts, and to also have district meetings on the issue, so the public can address the pros and cons, passed, adopted, and approved by the Northern Cheyenne Tribal Council by 12 for passage and adoption, and 3 vote against passage and adoption this 17th day of May, 1993. Today, let's talk about the Tribal Council session, scheduled as a regular session on May 7, 2025. I'll break it down. A regular session is typically made from an agenda committee. It's comprised of the Tribal Council members. Normally, what happens is there is agenda request, and it needs be signed by 3 members of the agenda committee. This is all set at least 3 days before the scheduled meeting. This is very important because it gives the public and the other council members time to read and understand what is on the agenda. We banned add-on agenda items because they are not available to the public or the council members. No time to prepare and understand what the item is. That is not a question. And if there really is an issue that needs to get on the agenda, that is when there is a special session. This focuses that agenda item for every council member, and the public can look at it with a microscope. There's 17 items on the agenda. That went through the normal agenda committee process, and I want to focus on item number 14. Cannabis Ordinance, Part D, E, F. What is it? Well, we don't know because there hasn't been any public meetings of any kind and in any district. Tory Davey, Tribal Councilman from Busby District. I voted for him on him keep repeating the word transparency. He was so focused and adamant on transparency. When he was campaigning, I, as well as many people, believed in him. Today, not so much. Why? This is what I am most worried about with cannabis. When Tory Davey was initially elected, he did have a cannabis committee, and we started off with preparing it for protections. After all, it is a cash-only business, and we needed to have the most stringent rules and regulations, not only for the tribal membership state of mind, but the federal government. Right off the bat, what we wanted for it, to be further than arm reach from the council. This stops the chance that an elected official can have a part of the business personally, and no one in their family can have a part either. This is what the Northern Cheyenne people want: accountability, transparency, honesty, integrity. The people want to be able to trust our elected officials to not break the law or bend the rules. What happened to the original cannabis committee, you ask? We were disbanded after that meeting, and Tory, though I repeatedly asked him, he was quiet as a church mouse. Then I recently spoke with members of the NCDC within the last month. This is the Northern Cheyenne Development Committee. They also tried to work with Tory. It was the same outcome. This person that does not want to be named because of bullying. Tory, this seems to be your MO, and said the same thing in the Cannabis Committee, that we wanted to use his brother-in-law and sister for the legal part. I said, yes, because I was interested in what would happen for an attorney would interpret this situation. A councilman using his own attorney for legal services, that his relatives allegedly could be a part of, seemed to raise questions. Like, can you follow the tribal law and put up posters and have public meeting, required by Tribal Law Resolution number 22093. Speaking of following the tribal law, take a look at this. Northern Cheyenne Tribal Council Natista boats coming soon. For rent at the Tongue River Reservoir. Summer 2025, owned and operated by the Northern Cheyenne Tribe. Wow, I didn't even know this was happening. I'm glad every part of Resolution 22093 was followed. I'm glad there were multiple public meetings in every district, so the tribal council can show the pros and cons of the pontoon boat business. What's that? They didn't have public meetings? Well, that's not following tribal law. Why were all other councils held to a high standard? And this council can do whatever they want without following Resolution 2-2093. Is public information so hard to do? Who is going to work there? Is my first initial question. I hope it's not a council member's immediate family member. That would be a cozy job for someone at the lake all summer. We have a few questionable hires. That seem to be very closely related to our council members. Or am I still recovering from my stoke? In my mind, one of the council member family has moved into the tribal office. I'd like to continue to break down tribal law in my eyes, and in plain black and white. I have been summoned by bullying from a council member to an Ashland district member. They knowing that I am in mid-recovery from a double stroke. They were in a bit of a panic and seemed to... And the problem is that it's a council member. I am taking this on because I feel I'm healthy. Enough to join the fight from seemingly our own leadership. During my stroke, I lost my filter and have a problem blurting out the truth. This turns to 16 on the agenda, ordinance protecting elected officials. I had a gun pulled on me during leading up to the impeachment. And removal of former President Jace M.T. Dew Killsback. Another tribal council member allegedly got into a fight in the parking lot because of the same reason. I deeply believe that enacting this resolution would give more power to the council members that act in this manner, a mandate to be more brazen, and they will have the ability to use tribal law as a shield. Ask Melissa Fisher to table the item. If there is someone bullying Councilwoman Fisher, there are laws every tribal member has access to. This places a barrier that is real in the minds and hearts of the people they lead. The only people that have that type of protection is Congress and other elected officials. But it is very limited, and the scope is limited on what they can say on the House floor. Not anywhere else in public. They have to behave the same as everyone else. Vote no on agenda item number 14. Let's have at least the minimum of amount of transparency before we move forward. After all, we should know something about it before you pass it. Vote no or table agenda item number 16. Just behave and use what is publicly available.